Hello and welcome to my channel. In this video, we're going to be taking a little look at a plugin called Dehancer. So this video isn't sponsored by Dehancer, but they did reach out to me and ask me if I'd like to try out their software. For me, one of the most interesting yet challenging parts of the workflow in making films is the color grading. So when Dehancer reached out to me and asked me if I'd like to try out their software, I was very intrigued. Being part of the digital age, I thought it would be very cool to be able to give my footage and my photos that kind of vintage feel to them, which you can't get with a digital camera. So what is Dehancer? Well, it's essentially a plugin that you can use with Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro and DaVinci Resolve, plus Lightroom, and they have their own standalone app as well, that you can use to emulate old film stock footage onto digital imagery. They have a massive library of different film stocks, which I will show you some of my favorites now. So the first step is to choose the color space. If you're using a camera like mine, which shoots in log, then you can use this plugin to convert it to Rec 709, or if your footage is already in Rec 709, then you can just select that. So one of the first tools that you're going to use is film grain. Rather than just adding film grain on top of the image, the algorithm generates the grain based on the local color and the brightness characteristics of the image. And in my opinion, it gives a better and more controlled result. I really like that you can change the way that it's interacting with the different parts of the image. So you can change the midtones, the highlights, and the shadows all independently, which you cannot do when you're just using an overlay. So the next tool that you'll use is bloom. The bloom tool allows you to emulate the bloom effect that would often come from using vintage lenses. And the best way to describe it is the softening or the blurring around the bright areas of the image. You can achieve this effect by using a ProMIS filter, but then the problem is you have baked it into the footage, so I'd rather do it in post and have more control. The next tool that's interesting is Halation. Halation is a visual imperfection that appears when shooting with film, and you get a red-orange halo around the bright areas of an image. It's not always easy to see though, and if you are adding it to your footage, then I would recommend using it subtly. There are other tools like film breath, film compression and gate weave, but I will be going over those in some tutorials over on my studio channel. Overall, I really like the plugin. There is one downside, however, which I need to mention, is it's very heavy on your computer. I have an Apple MacBook Pro with the M1 Max chip, and it does struggle with the playback, and the render times are increased on it. It's worth bearing that in mind, and I do recommend adding it into the end of your workflow. Anyway, with all of that said, I really like the plugin. Thank you ever so much, Dehancer, for letting me try it out. If you would like to try it out yourself, then you can use the code TheStudio at checkout and you will receive 10% off, and I will also get a little bit of a kickback, so that would help support the channel. I hope you've enjoyed it. It'd be great if you could leave it a like and a comment, and as always, I will see you in the next one.